Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So it is the 4th of July, and I decided to make some sparks in a different way. Instead of fireworks, we're going to make some sparks with a welder. So ARCCAPTAIN has done it again. They have sent us another welder to try. This is their latest and greatest welder that they just came out with. They actually released it a little while back. And they sent me one to try out, but I kind of wanted to wait a little bit to try this one out until I heard others' thoughts on it. And then I wanted to try it and get my thoughts on it. So I have been using ARCCAPTAIN welders for roughly about 2 years now. And I've had very good success with them. I've got one of their small MIG welders, which it's sitting right over there. I believe that's the 140 over there. I've carried it in my truck and used it on several occasions out in the field. I plug it into my 145 Hobart welder generator in the back of the truck, and I've been able to run it off that welder generator with no problems. I've used it for welding rebar together when we built the new house, when we were doing the basement. Used it quite a bit for welding some different rebar things that we needed welded up, and used it outside, out in the dirt, drug it around by the leads. I've dropped it, and it just keeps coming back for more. Kind of what I've done with it is just kind of tortured it just to see what it could handle. So anyways, this is the new MIG205MP. So let's get into this box and see what we got. I've been wanting to open this for quite a while, because there is a lot in here. There's a lot going on with this welder. Oh, it's a box inside of another box. So let's see if we can, there we go. It's very well packaged. And my knife is very well dulled. So there we go. There is the MIG205MP. Let's keep opening it up. Whoops. All right, let's get into it. So here's a box of accessories. Here's the welder itself. So when you pull this out of the box, you're going to notice that it has a pressure regulator on top of it. It's got 2 ports in the back. One is marked MIG and one is marked cut and TIG. This welder is multi-process, and it's multi-process in a little different way because it has a plasma cutter built into it. So that's what is really cool about this one, is it is DC TIG, MIG stick. It's got an option and an accessory to clean your welds, which is really cool. For stainless steel welders, they like to clean off the bluing and whatever kind of nastiness they get when they're welding stainless steel. And that's not something I'm going to use. But with this welder, it is an option. This is also a pulse MIG welder, which is really cool too. All right. Let's get rid of all that crap. Let's get into this box. Oh, we got decals. Everybody loves decals with a new welder. We have a cover for the welder, so we can keep the dust off of it. Open that up and have a look at it. Oh yeah. That's nice. You can cover that up in your shop, keep the dust off of it, keep the debris off of it. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. I like that. All right. We've got our stick lead. Throw that to the side. All right, so we have our ground cable, and I'd like to mention that these are made out of some really good wire. They're not just real lightweight. They They're pretty good as far as not melting and cut resistant and all that. We've had good luck with them. We have our gas hose, which is really nice. Looks to be a good hose. We have some extra tungsten for our TIG. We have rollers. We have tips for our welder. We have an electrical connector in there. It's always good to have that. We have a very nice looking plasma torch here. It's amazing what you get from ARCCAPTAIN for the price. I've been running a lead on our Lincoln MIG welder in Dad's shop. What is his welder? A 200 power MIG or 210 power MIG? And the lead that we got from them was cheap, and it's been working great. Very happy with it. So they make a very good product. We have some extra tips, consumables for our plasma cutter here. Here is our weld cleaner. Now, like I said, this is probably a process I'm not going to use. But what happens is these are a carbon brush, and you dip it in a solution, and then you squeeze the trigger, and it puts voltage to this, and it cleans your weld off, and really makes for a nice clean weld on your stainless steel. We got extras for that. We got extra carbon brushes for it. We have our MIG gun right here. Real nice. I like how they do this nice ball socket here so it's flexible. Real nice. I like that. It fits nice in the hand. And it feels durable. When you have a hold of it, you got something in your hand. It's not like it's small and hard to hang on to. But we have tips. We have a tip wrench with that. We have our 240 and our 110 plug-in. So we'll be using that here in the shop, or we won't be using this in the shop because we have a 240 volt plug-in. We don't need that. But it has the option if you want to plug it in your standard wall outlet, but you won't get the full potential out of this welder unless you run it on your 240 or 220, whatever you want to call it. TIG torch. Now you can, I believe, run an optional foot pedal with this, but this has got the trigger switch. And then we have our consumables for a TIG. So they're all in these nice little packages here. All right, we can get this set up, and what I really want to try with it is the pulse MIG. So that's what I'm going to try because, oh, I almost forgot. One of the most important things, which is nice about this, is it comes with a gas regulator. A lot of these welders don't come with a gas regulator, and these are expensive if you have to buy them after the fact. So this is a really nice one. Look at that. Real nice. Yeah, I like that. That's nice that it comes with it. So, all right, we'll get it set up and we'll try to do some welding with it. I got a big mess to clean up. Okay, so we got the ARCCAPTAIN 205MP multi-process welder set up here tonight. So it is a different night from the unboxing video. And what I want to do is I want to try the pulse MIG because that was the number one selling point to me was the pulse MIG. So I've already played with it a little bit, but let's go ahead and do it on camera. So I have it set on pulse MIG, which to get it to pulse, you just hit the pulse button. And I've got some scrap pieces of steel here that I made a coupon out of to weld up. So let's try it on pulse, and then I'll switch it, and I'll just normally MIG weld it. So that was my main thing about this welder that I really wanted, was I wanted a pulse welder. So that's what really sparked my interest on this one. I really don't have a need for the TIG side and the welding cleaning ability, but I wanted the pulse, and I'll use the stick and I'll use the plasma cutting function. But let's start off with the MIG welding side of it. Of course, we don't have ground. All right, let's try it. Well, so far, weld looks pretty good. But I think we need a little more heat. Turn that up a little bit. We'll leave our wire speed alone. Let's see what we get. Might be a little too much wire speed. So, that went pretty good. Now there's a little mill scale on this plate here that I'm welding on. That welded real nice. So the pulse works really good. I really like that. I mean, it makes a decent weld. It's something I'll have to play with and learn a little more. But as you can see, that looks pretty good. All right. I'm going to switch over. And we're going to try to do one. I'll just do my normal weld. I'll use this piece. Gloves are a little thick. Well, this will work. Alright, so we're going to shut the pulse off. It should be just normal welding. Not bad. Looks pretty good. Now, I am using a smaller wire. I'm not using 035 like I'm used to. My goal with this welder was I was going to weld really thin stuff with the pulse, and it did work real good. But I can't quite weld as thin as I want to with the MIG. The things that I'm going to want to weld are going to have to be TIG welded. And that's something I'm going to have to learn a lot better before I even start. I was going to use this to make my RC construction equipment. I was hoping with the small wire and the pulse, I could weld really thin, but that's just, it's not going to work for that. So definitely plenty hot. This welder is impressive. I do have it plugged into 220. and we can go way hotter than this. So wish I had some 035 wire in it, but I don't have a small 035 wire roll here at the moment. All right, so that weld that I done normal turned out pretty nice. It might be a little humped up, but looks like we got some penetration in that crack. It got down in there. I can kind of see it in there. But to really see it, we'd have to cut it and etch it. All right. So now, let me go get the stick leads for this, and we'll stick weld this one up. Go get those and get it set up. Well, got it set up to stick weld. Pretty simple. So unplug your MIG welder, plug your stick welder in, hit the mode button until you get over to MMA. That's your stick function. I got a 330 seconds 7018 in there. We're going to start at 90 amps and we're going to weld this crack up in this plate. Hopefully I can do this tonight. I'm a little bit shaky. Not the greatest to stick weld, or not my greatest, but not bad. Handled that 330 seconds just fine. Alright, so I got the plasma cutter set up. So that was super simple to set up. You plumb it all up, hook your air hose up for your compressed air in your shop. I've got the top out of a 55-gallon barrel. This is the kind of material that I plan on cutting with this plasma cutter, and I want to see how well it's going to cut it. This is what I'm going to make my models out of, this thin gauge of metal. So let's just take a cut and see what it's like. Oh yeah, I like this. This torch feels nice in your hand. Yeah, this is going to work out for a lot of my small projects that I want to do with it. It does have the capability to do larger projects too, but I'm going to keep this welder set up for my smaller stuff and then use it for that and enjoy it. And I like it. I think it's got a good place in my shop. It's going to take a little bit more learning on some of the other features that it has, but I think it's another great product from ARCCAPTAIN. And I do have some of their other welders. I've got the 200 over sitting in the corner, which is a stick and MIG. And then I've got the 145 that I've carried all over the place. And I also have the, I forgot what number it is. Oh yeah, the 130. So the 130, I've actually used a lot. And I've run that off of my welder generator in the back of my truck. And it's run very successful off of that. I know that some people say that the welder generators put out dirty voltage, and that sometimes ruins circuitry and stuff. but the ARCCAPTAIN 130 has run just fine off of it. So if you're looking for a welder, you can run off a generator, that 130 is a good choice. And I've used that on a lot of things out in the field. I've drug it around by the leads, I've dropped it and caught it by the cord, and it just keeps coming back for more. So definitely thank you, ARCCAPTAIN, for sending the 205 out for me to try. The Pulse MIG works like I want it to. I'm excited about that. And as far as TIG welding, there are videos of guys TIG welding with the 205, and they like it too. The weld cleaner, that's not something that I use in my shop, but who knows, that might be something I use someday. I don't have the cleaner to use with it. So anyways, rudely interrupted by the air compressor, but as I was saying, the weld cleaner, I don't have the solution to use with it, so I'm not going to demonstrate that, but like I said, there are other guys that made videos with the 205 with that weld cleaner. Maybe someday we'll use that, we'll see what happens, but all in all, out of the box, the 205 was easy to set up, and it didn't take me long at all to get welding with it. So nice package. Thank you again, ARCCAPTAIN. So I'll get this video edited up, get it put on the YouTube for everybody's enjoyment. So thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. See you all in the next one. Have a good evening or have a good morning. All depends on where you're at around the world.